Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the October 23rd meeting of the Board of Selectmen. If you'd all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, welcome everybody who's with us tonight or viewing. We probably have more people viewing tonight, seeing how that 191 hours ago there was an earthquake, and we were in the midst of it here. So.
And you saved your iPhone.
And I came back and got my iPhone.
And
So,
Mr. Chairman, I guess because of that earthquake, we have Mr. Obama with us.
I think that was the other meeting, right? Okay. A couple of announcements before we this meeting digresses too much further. Absentee ballots are available for the November 6th general election. Deadline for voting absentee is November 1st at 5 p.m. So after November 1st at 5 p.m., you will no longer be able to vote absentee. The absentee ballots are here. We do have ballot clerks in the lobby that are here during all the opening hours. So if you want to come in and vote early, you can do that. And we encourage everybody to execute their privilege to vote. The only other thing, just a quick update on the dam, because I know that's on a lot of folks' minds. We've got, and the water level being down did not cause the earthquake, but we think those that have concerns that the lake is off level, it might now be back on level because of the earthquake. But the water is down about 36 inches still. Been trying to keep it down to that level because the gates will be in next week. However, we also have the company that's going to epoxy the exterior of the Van Knolls.
Yep, I have it.
Okay.
They're going to be here the week of the 29th, and they should be all completed and the paint dried by November 2nd, which is Friday, and the gates are supposed to be here on or before the 1st.
So it looks like by the end of next week, we should be starting to button things up, should the weather hold and whatnot. But for those of you that are concerned that the lake is down 36, 37 inches, it has to remain down there until we get this work done. So.
And Knowles has to do work inside too, so we have to have it dry for the cement.
So that is that situation. So if anybody has any questions, I'm sure you can place a call here to the town office and get an update. Anything else from the board? Any other announcements? Seeing none. We do have an appointment this evening. Lebel, and was supposed to be Steve Levy, but Alex Long is here representing Maine Rural Water Systems. So I will turn it over to you folks. I'm not sure who wants to step up to the microphone, but
I guess it's me.
Alex, you're on.
All right, well, thank you very much for having us. As you all know, that I am not Steve Levy. And I am not too familiar with how much you've already discussed with Steve as well as the school board as far as what's going on. So in light of that, I'm just going to give a little tiny review. There's been some water quality problems for the drinking water quality at the elementary school, and up until now they've been trying to deal with it, treating at the source. That couldn't happen. And so to protect the health of the students, the situation is now that or the solution rather, is to extend the public water main to the elementary school. There is a funding mechanism to do this through the Community Development Block Grant through Maine DECD. And a quirk of that funding mechanism is that they can't give money to school districts or water districts. They have to give it to municipalities. And so what we're proposing, and this happens for many, actually all districts, water districts that get funding through the CBDG, is for the town to act as the pass-through for the funding. There is no cost to the town to do this. Maine Rural Water is going to be taking on all of the administration end, as well as all of the work for the research that needs to be done in order to qualify for the grant. I guess that's the situation. If you have any questions, I would be
Well, I
happy
think,
to answer them.
just to come back a bit, the last meeting that we had with Steve was one of, in the water district, was to look at possibly further extending the water from the middle school to the fire department, from the fire department
Okay.
to the town office. When we looked at those costs associated with that, certainly I think we took a position that we certainly were not interested in that piece of it.
Sure.
I do believe that the board was considerate that if a community development block grant had to be done in the name of Waterboro, that I think that the consensus was that we would help participate in that, to help facilitate it or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
So I think that's where we are with that, even though we probably still need to cast an official vote on it. But I think when we did talk about that we weren't interested in any expansions beyond the elementary school, we also had that discussion relative to whether or not we would be amenable to working with the school district if the CDBG had to be done through the town.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
so I think that's where we are. If we need anything more than that, I guess I'm not sure where.
I think Steve had mentioned to me on an email or a phone that I think he was looking for a vote,
Okay.
and then we would proceed and get the income survey done, which, we're gonna pay for naturally at the school, and then hopefully move on with this, hopefully next spring, next summer. The grant, the application, the money's only available in 2013 anyway. They're still discussing how much money will be available and stuff like that. We've been doing our own tests at these ourselves, because EPA out of Boston had said they would do them for us. They have done those, but it takes like 8 weeks to get results, because they send them all over the country, and it's ridiculous. So since 9/6, 9/26, and 10/19, we've taken 10 tests, 10 faucets to send 10 per time. And the first time on 9/6, we failed 6 tests, six places. On 9/26, we failed 5, and yesterday we failed 3. So what we've been doing, keep in mind, some of these faucets have not been used for years and years and years, and there's some lead in them, especially the old section. The new section of the building is fine, because that was done in the 90s. So we're kind of encouraged by this, and we flushed the system last Thursday night for like 3 to 4 hours. We start at one end of the building, open up the faucets, flush some toilets, go down the other end, do the same thing. Then you have to let it sit for about 6 hours. Then the next morning, first draw, you take the screen off or the nozzle, and then you take your first draw, and that's your test. So we're kind of encouraged, but there's a couple areas that we're still failing, and hopefully, these will go away. We're looking at other things. Maybe there's met with Frank Haggerty, meeting with him on Thursday. You may have a chemical that might clean some of these pipes better than what we're doing now. So, but all in all, with 540 kids or students plus 80 staff members at that school, we need drinking water, no doubt about it.
So the current situation is there's a temporary line, right?
Yep.
And what is the status of that? Is that going to be?
Well,
are you going to run that as long as you can, or
we hope to run it 2 more weeks. Okay. And get another test in, another sample, 2 weeks. Then I would recommend we flush it leave it there. It costs $22,000 to run that line. And we had a grant that paid for that through the Maine Drinking Water Fund. And then next spring, if it works, next spring we're gonna have to rehook it up and then clean it again. And then hopefully run the line down in the summertime to the school. So, yeah, we're kind of encouraged. I mean, but I mean, when you have that many students, hopefully with an application like this, when you look at a school, you would tend to go to top of a list somewhere. You know, so, anyway, all the support you can give us, we'd appreciate, that's for sure.
The failures that you've had, have you had a pass and then that same spot fail? Or
No, all
it's
three. Yeah. And well, one of them, the level we're looking for is, in lead is .015 per billion, okay? The one that failed is .028, not too far off. And that failed 3 times, .026, .023, .028, pretty consistent. The other one that failed 3 times is .061, .44, which is high, and then .081. So it's kind of up and down. The third room that failed is .012, .121, .053, .154. That's gone higher than the first 2 tests. So in some of these rooms, they're going to have to change faucets. We know that. I mean, they've been there forever. Some of them we've already changed faucets. Hopefully, we can get the system clean. We may have to re-pipe some of that building. We realize that, especially the older section. But then that's another thing we'll talk about internally, and so that's where we're at. We need to get water to that school, there's no doubt about it.
So all you're saying is that on our part, we need to go through the process and apply in our name. There's no financial obligation.
That's correct.
That's correct. And actually, Maine Rural Water would be the entity that's preparing that application.
You can say aye, we all recognize that it won't be
I
Steve.
would be the one.
It won't be Steve.
It won't be Steve, yeah. It all flows down. I'll be the one preparing the application for you. So, with other communities that I've done this for, it's just as simple as coming in and giving you the prepared application, signing off, and taking off again. So, I try to make it as painless as possible.
So, any other questions from anybody? We want to, I guess I would entertain a motion to support this.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? So, it's on the record that we'll do whatever we gotta do and
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very
understand where, that may only be a signature, but
That's
Sometimes
probably all
it's-
we need. Thank you.
all right, here we go, delegation. Anyone like to speak that's here? Any business? Sensing none. Correspondence. The list of correspondence, weekly correspondence, Treasury's weekly financials, Representative Libby's newsletter, notice, Time Warner Cable, internal restructuring, EcoMaine recycling report. You'll see that Waterboro was just a shade under 21% for the month of September. 10/30/12 public hearing notice, and just to stop with that a little bit, next Tuesday night, the 30th, at 6 p.m., we will be holding a public hearing here in this room to consider approval of a pawnbroker's license for Waterboro Pawn and Gold to be located at 134 Main Street. So if anybody has that on their radar, you can certainly come and have input to that. Motor Vehicle Agents, September's report. Thank you letter from Southern Maine Agency on Aging for our donation to them this year, and a list of board and committee vacancies. And just as a reminder, pull this up. Still looking for members for the Old Home Days Committee and a community garden committee. Fair hearing committee, we have 2 vacancies. The zoning board of appeals, 1. Finance committee, 2 vacancies. Planning board, 1 vacancy, which is an alternate member. Parks and Rec, 4 vacancies. Conservation commission, 1 vacancy. Transfer station recycling committee, 1 vacancy. Hiring panel, 4 vacancy. Economic development committee and public safety committee, we're trying to rebuild those committees from scratch. So we need 7 and 5 members respectively in those 2 committees. So that is the correspondence for the week. Reports of staff, reports and staff initiatives. Road review committee, Roger, what say you?
Good evening. Not an awful lot to report. We've been busy. We're still working on road projects. We're still doing our inventory of the culverts, measuring the roads, gathering all the data we can. We've picked up all the road counters. We're done with them for the season. It's getting too cold to put them out there, especially at night when it gets cold. The cars going over the tubes, they kind of get beat up more than they need to be. I think we've got a lot of data. We picked up more this year than we did last year. Right now, we're just kind of putting it all into a bank for, further use on what roads are going to be, on the schedule for repaving and all this we work with the road commissioner with. So, other than that, we're just staying busy and moving forward.
Any questions of Roger? You guys are doing a great job and keeping everybody involved, and I think that's what keeps the committee going, right? Is this, if there's a purpose, I think people stay involved, so that's good.
We're involved, that's for sure.
So is measuring culverts kind of a wet activity? Or,
It could be, could be. We're still looking. We would like to get a metal detector. I talked with Nancy. We're not gonna spend as much money in our budget for road tubes this year as we thought we did. We kind of put in an amount in there in case we lost road tubes or they got damaged, so we'd have money to cover it. From what I can see, we won't need nothing for this budget, so we're thinking about using some of that money and get a metal detector. We kind of need that when we go out, try to find some of these culverts that have been in there for so long, we just can't find them. So with the metal detector, it would really be a big help, find them so we can measure them, get the flows, and everything else we're trying to get accomplished.
Just one question. All the traffic monitors that you've been placing around town, do we have sufficient data to indicate whether or not we have any type of significant increase in traffic volume on the roads, or is it pretty well consistent with what has been over the past 5 years? Or?
It's been consistent except for Townhouse Road, Old Alfred Road. And I think a lot of that's got to do with Poland Springs, where they were repaving and doing all the construction on 112. A lot of the truck traffic is diverted going this way just to get away from all the construction. I think once that construction is done, it'll probably slow down a little bit. Now that they found it, it's a lot shorter for them going this way, and it costs less money because they don't have to pay so much in tolls. So I'm sure a lot of them will keep using that same route, but I think some of them will go back to the 112. But I would say probably from what we've gathered, there's probably somewhere between 12 to 15% increase on those 2 roads in the, I'd say over the past 9 months.
And it certainly hasn't been because of the population increase in Waterboro.
not 12 to
Nobody building
15% in the
houses.
last 9 months.
So when are they gonna fix 112? That seems to be a
They're
multi-year project on it.
pretty much done. I mean, they've got a lot of it paved now, so they had to totally redo that road, so it's been quite a project. The weather didn't really set with them too well, because they lost a lot of time, but hopefully it'll be done shortly.
So
Well,
that-
it's all.
I would anticipate then that increased usage on the old Alfred Road is going to deduct from the projected 7 to 10 year life of that particular road surface, according to Maine DOT, so we're following further behind the 8 ball on that road.
I don't think any story's gonna get better on that road.
Not from what we can see.
No. Anything else, Roger?
That's it.
Any other questions, guys? Thank you. Road Commissioner. He's got his glasses off and everything.
What would you like to know tonight?
I don't know, it's your report, so.
Well, we're almost done down on Hemlock and Oak Street. In our meeting last Tuesday night with the DOT, I questioned them about the driveway culvert at the corner of Oak and the old Alfred Road, and they said they didn't feel it was their responsibility to put in a culvert underneath the driveway. They wanted to know what we was gonna do about our water, that they were causing to be held back because the driveway is higher than the ditch at Oak Street. So I think we can all agree that they've done all they're gonna do, and it's up to us. So after that meeting Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, I ordered a new catch basin, and I had Elm Street Vault come up and bore a hole through the existing catch basin on the left-hand side of Oak Street and ran a connecting pipe to the right-hand side and put a catch basin in over there, so now we're taking care of our water and some of the water off of Alfred Road. And then having done that, we went in today and changed the style of the ditch we had in there and widened it out so that we now can drain that whole side of Oak Street into that catch basin, and it'll go into the drainage system that we put in last year, 2 years ago, for the Hemlock and Oak Street. Some of the people in there are extremely happy. There's a couple that aren't happy. I don't know just what to do to please them, to be truthful with you. We're gonna move forward and complete the project, and then if there's complaints, we'll have to try to deal with it, but I think that we should complete the project before we start getting too many complaints. McLucas Road is almost ready to gravel, if I ever get time enough to finish putting up the stakes, and then that'll be ready to be paved. That's pretty well underway. New Dam Road, John told me today that there's been people complaining about the rocks at the end of the road. The rocks, unless there's an executive order issued by somebody, the rocks are not gonna be moved, only closer to the pavement. People are already cutting it too short, and I went up there just before the meeting tonight and looked again and took my vehicle and drove up to the end of the road, and I could see in good sight distance as long as I pulled up there in the correct lane. But when I tried to pull up and pull down off the pavement, you lose some sight distance. So I think we're gonna, right now the stop sign's 9 feet off the edge of the pavement. I'm gonna move it to 4 feet. The snowplow contract said the snow's got it removed to 3 feet from the edge of the pavement. So we'll move it to 4 feet, and we'll move the rocks in closer to the pavement and see if we can keep the cars on the pavement. And if you've gone up there and looked at it, you'll find that the intersection is quite wide. So there is ample room. Straight Line, or whatever his name is, the line painting guy, the wet weather slowed him up a little bit, and he's pretty well available to come up here, so hopefully next week I'll give him a call and tell him to come paint the lines. I was hoping that Dayton could get back here and widen out that short section of Chadman's Ridge Road and take some of the slope out of it. That's gonna make a difference to the cars turning left, going northeasterly on
on Chadman's Ridge. And for trucks and school buses, it's gonna give them a wider, the right-hand lane is gonna be 14 feet, the left-hand lane will be about 10. And that'll give them a wider area to make the turn to protect the cars coming easterly out of New Dam Road. And when we get the road striped, then people will actually have to drive across the striped line if they try to cut going into New Dam Road. If they try to cut it, they're gonna have to cut right across both sets of striped lines. So I hope that makes a difference. I'm not sure that, I know that we can't make everybody happy. I hope we've made it safer for the people who want to, use it. And I've had several people tell me that, they see more people stopping there now than they did before, a lot more people. I got a call from the resident on Bedine Road, and he's extremely happy that we've got that road fixed, and he can now get in and out of his house without using four-wheel drive, and he feels he'll be able to year-round. I went up to the dam. We discussed the dam while I stepped out for a minute.
Just a bit, but if you wanna.
Well, I went up and measured the elevation of the water in the dam. It's 35 inches in one spot, 35 and a quarter inches in another spot. There's an inch and a half going over the openings where the gates go. So, did you mention that, Nancy?
No, we had talked about it before a little bit.
So,
I did say that we've got to keep the inside dry because they're gonna have to cement that.
well, we're gonna have to, once the gates put back on, we're gonna have to pump the water out of the inside of the dam, put up some sandbags and pump it down so they can get in there and do the work they gotta do on the inside.
And Knowles has to do that, so we gotta have it done by the week of the 29th.
What's that?
Knowles is coming the week of the 29th. And that's when they're gonna do the repair at the bottom of the gate, bottom of the dam.
So, this is all gonna come to an end here pretty quick. We put an allowance in the budget to do work at the town pit. So today, I had the water people, the groundwater people at the pit. As I don't remember how many of you went down the other night, we had to walk around the pit, but I told you that we had to find out where our groundwater was located because we've either reached or exceeded the area that we're supposed to have without monitoring wells. Well, as of tonight, we have one monitoring well installed, and we have another one ready to install. So hopefully that will be done tomorrow night. And we dug either 7 or 8 test pits today checking for the water. The water level off the end of the old burn pit, or where the brush pile is we're at about the level that we can be. We have to maintain the bottom of the pit has to be 5 feet above the water table unless we want to go for a variance. And there isn't area enough left there to go for a variance in that section of the pit. As we go toward the rear of the pit, or toward the pole line area, the water on the left-hand side of the pit, one hole's down almost 5 feet, and 10 feet away from it, it's down 7.5 feet. So there's evidently some impervious layer in there that's holding that water table up. Across the pit, we went down 12.5 to 13 feet, and it was dry. So as you go toward the brook, the water table is dropping significantly, so our impervious layer must be disappearing. We will get a report back, we'll get a map, the elevations will be set on it, and we can have the engineering company check that elevation of the wells periodically to keep our DEP permit in good working order. So that's something the road review committee is going to work along with myself and Tommy to just have somewhat of a plan to, so everybody will know what we're gonna do. questions about that? So I guess that's, I do have a couple things other than that. I see tonight you voted to send a letter to the school to help them get money for water. I wish you'd have given some thought to having them make some kind of an agreement with us to take care of the water that they've put upon us that's unnecessary, that they don't wish to pay for. We spent a tremendous amount of money, and when we put the drainage system in on the old Alfred Road, which I assume someday will be put in, there should be some contribution by the school to help pay for part of that. They could drain that water off there. And then, I don't know what your thoughts are about the dam. We seem to be getting a lot of complaints about that. Has anybody got any thoughts about that?
Finish it.
What's that?
I think
Finish it.
Finish it. We got a week and a half or 2 weeks here that it'll be done, and as far as I'm concerned, we need to do whatever's gotta be done to finish it. We made the commitment to spend the money,
And a lot of it now is gonna wait on the weather, because like Noel said, if the weather is wet or the paint's not gonna dry.
It's gotta be 32 degrees
Yeah.
for 5 hours, above 32 degrees for 5 hours after they put that epoxy on.
That's why he's saying November 2nd, that week, he's pretty sure he'll be done.
And,
So we can start the following week, get everything lined up for the, install the gates.
and hopefully the gates will be back.
They said on or before November 1st, so it's good timing to have everything done at once.
I was wondering if I should make a proposal to this honorable board about the dam. And I'm wondering if I'll try to explain this out. I've been thinking about this for some time. We seem to have, you know, a considerable amount of people in the Lake Association that think that they own Ospey Lake. So maybe we ought to put an article in the warrant, and we ought to sell the dam to them. We ought to put the old gates back on, plug the hole in the dam, raise it up, sell it to them, put a list of conditions on it that they have to do the work on the dam, and sell it to them for like 50 grand. And then the town of Waterboro would be out of the dam business. And, you know, we would never have to worry about the dam again. And we could raise some funds.
thank you for your input there, Doug.
You sell it to, you say sell it to them for 50,000 or a buck?
50,000.
Okay.
You know, it cost us money to put the dam in, it's gonna cost money to do the work on it, we need to do it and get reimbursed, and, you know, if we're not gonna be able to work on it when it needs it, and who's gonna be the representative, anybody besides me, Thursday morning?
No.
Representative for what?
DEP's
We've got a
coming down.
DEP.
Oh, the DEP.
Yeah.
DEP.
So if somebody's
It's got a few questions about the whole.
I'm just not quite sure how somebody that's in charge of hydro power dams has any influence or authority over this one, but we'll at least participate in that meeting.
Anybody got any interest in going? Nancy is
Is it,
assigned me the,
I'm gonna be tied up.
Yeah,
Thursday morning?
Yeah.
What time?
I don't know yet.
I can
I'll
probably-
find out.
Might be able to.
I'll find out tomorrow. I'll send out what time she's gonna be there.
okay?
We've had some communications back and forth on what the forester needs to finish the management plan up at the property. And I think it's, we can either deal with it tonight or we can put it on next week's agenda. If it's on next week's agenda, does that slow you down with doing anything up there on the property? I would guess no, right?
No, you got my information on that. So, I mean, I would think that, what's $16.99? And, you know, we could have that and maybe some other town properties surveyed to see what needs to be, you know, what the wood situation is on them, and, you know, we could do that on a credit basis, and, you know, I
think that would work out fine.
Okay.
And, I mean, it's a,
We're just bringing up, we just want to make a formal position with the board.
it's a
I
win-win
mean,
situation.
the revenue's coming in because of what they owe us with the wood that came off it, right? And
Yeah,
if we
and
can,
that money should go back into guaranteeing good growth for the rest of it, you know, so. As you know, the vote for the salt shed is at the same time as a presidential election, and I hope people get out and vote, and that we can get some support to doing this.
okay?
I have a question, Doug, on the speed limit signs on Dunes Ridge. Have we got those up yet? Have they come in?
They come in last week, I think, and I haven't got them up. I haven't put up any signs. I've got a bunch. I guess I did miss one, so Christina reminded me of that and took care of it. I believe that's been all. Christina tries to keep me going in kind of a straight line, but
It's a hard job, isn't it, Christina?
odd job. No, I haven't, and radar signs are there, but Tommy had last week off, and we're trying to get these other projects done, and I want to get them wrapped up and then go out and start, we'll put some time in on signs.
When you do that, put the time in on signs, how about the signs that the transfer station committee bought, say no dumping here?
Well, I put up some of them signs, but some of them, they wanted some put up across the street from the transfer station. There's already signs there. They wanted signs put up on the Osby Hill Road, said no dumping. There's already a sign up there. So I reported back quite some time ago that, if they want more signs put up somewheres, I mean, I can tell you right now, we can ride all over town and there's junk dumped everywhere.
Yeah.
I would suggest that maybe one go up on the McClucas Road, because you go up above Gordon's house about a half a mile on the left-hand side, and, you could almost live in that pile of garbage that's there. The couch, I guess, and you seen that stuff up there, Gordon?
Take a ride up there, I guess. The last time I went up was because the road was washed out, and I went up and took pictures of that.
No, there's about a half a mile up on the left-hand side. I think it's,
So let's, I guess a question for you.
yeah,
No matter what back road you drive on, you bet McClugs Road or Mountain Road or Bennett Hill Road, right? There's an accumulation now of a lot of TVs, tires, rugs, mattresses, etc. In the past, I know Tommy picked a lot of that stuff up. If he doesn't have time for that, then I think we need to take some action as a board and hire one of those guys that do that, pick up stuff, and at least before the snow comes in, pick up some of the stuff along these back roads.
well, hopefully that we get these 3 projects that we got done, that are pretty well underway, we get those done, and then we're gonna have time to go into, picking up that stuff. And if we don't, I'll let you know, and we can hire somebody, but, it's.
I guess that's really the answer that's gotta be, the question that's gotta be answered. If you don't have time and resources to do it, then we need
You do it.
to hire somebody to go do it.
Well,
I think we should reaffirm with our contract deputy too, that parties that are caught dumping illegally should be prosecuted. What we have been doing is just having them clean up the mess, but apparently there's still a number of people that just aren't getting the message. And I would think that other residents in town that, see somebody doing this should be reporting it. I mean, you gotta live here.
Well, part
I know up on Chadwell Ridge, there's a whole bunch of garbage, and sometimes too, and most likely, probably as much of the time or more of the time, it's people from out of town and in fair ways out of town, Biddeford or someplace like that, that's coming in and dumping there. So that's really hard. You get someone coming in at 1 o'clock in the morning and dumping stuff, unless they're stupid enough, and some of them are, to have some of their stationery, or some of their letters and stuff like that with the trash. And
I think what you see now is a lot more furniture and
Yeah.
rugs and
Stuff that they have to
like
pay
that,
for.
They wouldn't, the name's not gonna be on it.
Right.
But maybe, and it's only a matter of identifying it as we put the budget together, maybe we should have a specific line item so that the taxpayers in this town know how much it costs us to pick that stuff up every
Yep.
year.
have a couple cleanup days.
Yeah, it seems kind of counterproductive. We espouse on recycling, and it seems like the money that we do make from recycling just goes to picking up trash that people just throw on the side of the road because they're, like you say, they're from out of town, or they're just too lazy to go up to.
They're not all of them from out of town.
No, but, or I was gonna finish by saying they're too lazy to go to the dump, or they don't wanna pay the $5 or $10 fee to get rid of, the electronics, because we'd end up having to pay that from taxation, so it's,
It's the paper bag.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, David, you know?
I was thinking that
Can't
too.
blame that on the paper
Here we
bag
go.
anymore, but, you know, what, do we still have a day spring, a day fall, when you can take anything to the transfer station?
No,
free of
we
charge?
just, in fact, I'll put on that when the selectmen's report, we just had the transfer station committee last night meeting, and that was one of the subjects that we brought up, with
I mean,
the
from,
fact that we really need to do something we do it for a few years and then kind of lose interest in it, but it should be
Well, the
done.
argument is it costs too much, but
Yeah.
on the other hand,
it costs too
Does
much
it?
to drive around and pick everything up off the side of the road.
how much is it gonna cost to send, I mean, I can tell you one thing right now, we're not gonna go out there and pick up these old mattresses and all of that stuff by hand, you're just not gonna do it. So you take a tractor out with a thumb on it, and you load the stuff into a truck, and you haul it back to the transfer station. By now, the stuff is soggy, wet, and instead of you getting it, and weighing 300 pounds, it now weighs 800 pounds, and your disposal cost goes right up, because the stuff is so soggy and so wet. The tires are all full of water. A few years ago, there was a big push on to eliminate all the tires that we had around town, because tires caused some kind of mosquito to breed in the water that was inside the tires, and it was one of the major factors in this
What's nine?
West
West
Nile.
Nile.
West Nile bug deal. So, we got all of these things to think about. And I'm sure that,
You can put that down verbatim.
Yeah,
Amy.
put that in, we would like to see that in the paper.
WNBD.
yeah. So anyway, just keeping these tires around, and we'll go out and, I know that we've picked up at least 50 or 60 tires already this summer. And the Ospey Hill Road and Chadman's Ridge Road, and, it doesn't matter where you go, it seems like everybody just backs up and dumps, and then it shingles.
What we should do is have a certain, like it's the second weekend in October or something, so it's an ongoing thing.
Yeah,
And
I think,
just-
I think you need a
spring.
spring and fall cleanup
Yeah.
day, and the taxpayers may pay, but I think in the long run, it's gonna be a bargain compared to what the cost is otherwise.
Yeah, Waterboro's faced with their own WMD dilemma, I guess, here, the wet mattress deal.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
Hey, Doug,
Doug,
Doug?
before you go,
you mentioned Bradeen Road and people being happy. On it. Yeah, of course, I always, you hear the other person. Were the people happy live at the top of the hill or the bottom of the hill?
Well, there's only one resident.
Well, it goes down from the top. I mean, from the top of Chadwell Ridge, right?
we're running a
So
100%
you know,
favorable.
I had some people say, "Why are you doing that for? No one lives down there." I said, "Well, it's arrowheads down there, but so I guess for those people that say, why did we hot top Bradeen Road?"
Well, I'll tell you why we did it. Because The first year that I got elected, I got a call from that gentleman, and he said, they come in and fixed Bedine Road, and they paved it to what I believe is Sunset Drive. He said they stopped. He said, my driveway's 100 feet from Sunset Drive, and he said, I have 2 4-wheel drive cars and a 4-wheel drive pickup, and he said, I have to leave them up at the corner of Sunset because I can't get into my own driveway. He says, can you tell me why they didn't fix the road? I said, I have no idea. To be truthful with you, I didn't even know where Bedine Road was, because I forget what we used to call it, but it was something different than that. Emery Road.
Yeah.
And if he'd have said Emery Road, I'd have known what he was talking about. So I called Tommy up. I said, Tommy, people are having trouble on the Bedine Road. And will you go up and take a look and see if we can haul some 1.5-inch stone up there and dump it and take the tractor up so they can get in. He went up and he had the new town truck and he drove down in there and he said, I got all I can do to get down in here with this 1-ton in 4-wheel drive. He said, I don't believe that we got stone enough to fix the road. So then I said, well, I guess I better go up and look at it. So I went up and looked at it and I come back and I said to Dawn, who plows that road, because that is a contract plowed road, I said, how are you plowing that road? He says, with a lot of problems. He said, they've had to come up with a loader and pull me out twice. I got down the end of the road and I couldn't get turned around. So I looked at it and I said, you know, this doesn't make a lot of sense. We got a resident here. We got another house down the other end of it. At the time, right now, it's not occupied, but they're still paying taxes on it. Somebody will occupy it, I assume at some time. So I said, when this dries out, we're gonna fix it. So it dried out. We went up. I looked at it, flattened it out, put gravel on it, let it set all last winter, and then this year we paved it. That's why it's paved. And it's, you know, I told you all that I would do the best job I could do on your roads. The ones I could fix, and the ones I could save, I would do that to it. And I thought that was a road that, you know, could be saved. Same with, you know, the road that you live on, Gordon. You know, it's a road that's got a lot of houses on it, gets a lot of traffic, and people should have the right to have it decent enough to drive their car on without staving it out. And I figured this guy ought to have the right to get in and out of his house without having to use 4-wheel drive or walk. It may not be a good enough argument, but
It's a town road, right?
it's a town road.
Yeah.
It certainly decreases the plowing cost too, so you don't have to send vehicles up there to pull out your trucks.
Well, it should decrease my repair cost, I can tell you that. So, anyway, that's the reason that we did it.
Yep.
And that's the reason that I want to do, you know, the Bagley Road, and I'd like to do the Osby Hill Road. We go down them roads and we maintain them, and, you know, we just keep dumping money in and money in and money in.
Yeah, it's all in how you look at something. If you never travel it and you say, gee, I don't think many people live down there. Why are they doing that and not this one here? Then you know that makes
The same thing when
makes
people
sense.
live in Arrowhead, they were all over us because they didn't like their road going in there. Then somebody called up and said he got some muddy, the cars couldn't go in and out. But now I've had all kinds of people saying, wow, we really like that job, but we don't like the intersection. But you know, I guess
They have to stop.
they have to stop. They can't, it's not
People
Indianapolis.
coming down didn't like the intersection before either.
No, they didn't.
Doug, before you leave, we haven't touched on the boat launch.
Yeah.
I was up there today and just took a look at it. The launch area itself, I think it looks terrific, but that brook is increasingly bearing to the right, and you can see where it's sweeping stone and stuff across the base of that. So I just wanted to let you know, I don't know when's the last time you've been up there, but
2 days ago.
so, yeah.
I'm watching the flow, Gordon, but I'm not sure just exactly what to do about it.
I don't know if we,
Well, when there's another foot of water in the lake, it'll not be a problem. But
yeah, that's possible.
We'll pass October 1st.
all right. Anything else for Doug? Thank you. All right. Selectmen's reports. Anything? Gordon?
No,
David?
I just, did we get a letter out, have we started a letter, Nancy, on the old Alfred Road? We talked
No,
about that.
Nancy and I are
Okay.
collaborating.
The Community Garden Committee met last night. Nancy's a part of that, so she can follow up anything that I miss. They're coming down to the last 2 meetings of the year. And from what I've seen, there's a lot is planned. A lot is kind of halfway there with the next step to be made. An example is that would really look nice that we talked about last night too. Wasn't the first night talked about it, but is putting a brick walk into the garden, and people could buy a brick and have their name engraved on it, and for a modest amount, and be a part of that park, the way into the garden. I've seen that done a lot on botanical gardens where there'll be walkways and people can buy bricks for the botanical garden. So it's, we're going around to some local business people and seeing if we can get some donations. So it's on its way, and going to be planting some rye this week, and just go out there. And from what I understand, sowing rye is not a scientific process. You just throw it out from the center, and they say basically it takes root on almost anything. So it's a nice fertilizer for the spring. So it's on its way, and it's going to look really nice out there. I really think as we do more work, it's going to be a great use of that land. It's going to look nice.
Just a
So
suggestion.
you guys said that there's not gonna be any pumpkins allowed in it? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, Kenny Bug told us that they had a lot of vandalism in their garden until they stopped no pumpkins. Once they stopped no pumpkins, they didn't have a problem.
I don't know, but maybe next year we could have the first annual Waterboro Pumpkin Chunkin tournament from the community garden.
Oh, we could all wait out there till midnight for the Grand Pumpkin?
Yeah, the Great Pumpkin.
The Great Pumpkin? Yeah. I'd just suggest to you on the walkway is to paint those bricks yellow.
Paint them yellow?
Yeah,
Oh, the yellow brick? Oh,
So to get on the yellow brick road.
Wow,
You need something,
you're right up there today.
you need something to draw, you know. I mean, standard red brick, you know, that's kind of mundane, but, you know, if you say, come on down to the yellow brick road and, you know, get some vegetables.
Anything else? No.
Can you get this meeting,
Kinda.
move it along a little?
Transfer Station Committee meeting last night, just a quick recap that we need to, and we'll get the committee looking at it, and having an annual day or days, spring and fall or whatever, for a pickup thing, and see if we can put some formal pieces together on that. Nancy?
I've been working on getting the budget request packets together, and my target date is to get them to the department heads, committees, and boards by October 30th. I have put together a budget calendar timeline, and I brought a copy for the board members to look at to see if everything is okay, and I would like to include that in the packet so that everybody knows what's going on. Oh, we mentioned the restructuring. We have a slight little program out here with putting in a new office. We gotta have some HVAC work done. Because where the new office is gonna be is, where the cold comes down, so we have to move. Tony's gonna be coming in and getting us a price. Christine will be in the cold all the time and no heat. But she will have two windows.
Put another sweater on.
You give me a pellet stove.
Yeah, so we gotta have that additional work, and I do not know what that is gonna cost, but
Let's take a look at
Yep.
everything. The audit,
he is coming in the week of the 29th.
and is that to finalize his efforts?
I think he's coming in. He's done some pre, and he's been in a little while after, but yeah, I think this is to finish up the full-blown audit.
Because the expectation is that they have a draft to us in the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anything else? All right, let's go right into new business. The first item will be pushed to next week.
There is one that's.
Oh, there is one in there? That we already know.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Would be the second one
Mhm.
to the Library Board of Trustees, a reappointment.
Right.
So on Linda Stapleton, so what's your pleasure on that, folks?
I move that we reappoint Ms. Stapleton to the Library Committee.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Second item is a request by Richard Bateman. Actually came in while Christine was on vacation, so we're a little bit late with it, but there's a number of other towns that have already adopted a resolution proclaiming October 22nd through October 28th as Free Speech Week. So they have requested all of the Saco River Cable TV regional groups to participate this. So we present this, I guess, as a resolution to the board. So what's your pleasure on this?
I will move that we recognize Free Speech Week from October 22nd to October 28th in the town of Waterboro.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it for purpose of discussion.
All right.
Do you expect the ACLU to show up?
So discussion then. Then moved and seconded, we open it up for discussion.
I think we have, I mean, there's so many things that right. I'm just tired of the whole crap that they throw at us and recommend. And I mean, we have free speech every day.
It just seems like overkill. You get you get your First Amendment. They could read the Constitution. What better resolution is there than the U.S. Constitution?
True, but it's, I think from what I see on this, it's not going any further. It's just celebrating that as one special part of our nation in that free speech is a huge, huge piece of our Bill of Rights.
Yeah, and I think, remember where this is coming from. This is coming from the community cable TV guys, right? And what we're doing tonight is, you know, part of this whole process of being able to broadcast this and this meeting, and people have the right to come and express their views, and I think that's really what they're after is that, you know, the municipalities, and if you read the resolution, Standish, Buxton, Hollis, Leamington, Limerick, Waterboro to express their opinions through public education and government access to television. So that's really what this is.
I understand the resolution.
I don't disagree that there might be some, I think we're a little over the top with political correctness, but I'm not sure that that's what this is about.
We're celebrating our reporter being here.
Right. Any other comments?
Just
Okay, I'm sensing no other discussion, so all those in favor? Opposed? Thank you, motion carries. All right.
Is it unanimous?
Yes, it's unanimous. I love everybody.
Item three, Kumbaya. Discuss the vote to approve a letter of support for RSU 57's application to the United States Department of Education, the Race to the Top competition. And there's a letter here to show our support. So if you're in tune to supporting that, I'd ask for a motion to send the letter of support.
Again, at the risk of being nice, nice to our public schools, I would move that we endorse the RSU 57's application.
Have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? Sensing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. All right, I think that wraps up the business portion here, other than warrants and bills for payroll.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Minutes of October 2, 9, and 16 regular meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Before I get into pending decisions and announcements, we have Representative Libby here tonight.
Good evening.
Anxious over the next 2 weeks, but
How are we all doing tonight?
great.
I just wanted to report back, still going on the whole urban compact and Europe thing. I'm waiting to hear back from the deputy Benoit, so I'm waiting to still hear that. There was a lot of discussion, now that I get more work into it, seeing the discussion was in the committee level, on the transportation committee about this, trying to figure out that, that fine line of what's, what really is that, what meets the okay to pass off, and instead of just, the state passing down these liabilities. So there's has been a lot of work on that in the last, this past year in 2011, and I think that's, important going on. What I find just is, it just doesn't make sense. There isn't an easy, at the moment, how it's said and done, and it's got to be a better way of doing it, and it can't be, the money is what it is. It's still a taxpayer, but it is also the state just kind of relieving their liability down to towns, and there's something wrong with that. There needs to be a different way. So, like I said, I'm still waiting to hear back from the assistant deputy director. So, I'd like to get a little more answers on that from that side of the perspective, going forward on that. So, still getting more answers on that. And I do just one of the questions I've been getting recently is Route 5. So I just wanted to get some status on that. Of course, the intersection of 202 and 5 was done, completed this July. 2013, they're actually going to do from the Waterboro line to the Cornish line of Limerick. So the whole Route 5 Limerick will get repaved. And then 2014 is when it will be Waterboro from Dunkin' Donuts all the way to the line. Chatham Ridge. From Chatham Ridge Road to Dunkin' Donuts will be for 2014. Will get paved.
So answer me this question, and I know that a lot of this is certainly driven by some level of political influence. From Hannaford's or Dunkin' Donuts to Chadburn Ridge Road, Route 5 is an embarrassment.
Yeah.
And it has been for 25 years. They've rebuilt Cornish to Limerick, Limerick to North Waterboro, all of those kind of things. What are they waiting for? Why would they continue to repave from Cornish to Waterboro and not fix the section of Route 5 from North Waterboro to Dunkin' Donuts?
Well, the answer I get right off the bat is that they have a lot of surveys and they do it out. There's obviously, as you said, there's more to it. Whatever. When you're looking at these, evaluations of the roads and stuff, same as the passing down the road. I mean, it's kind of a hearsay of what's good. How do we define good when we're talking about roads? This bump, that pothole, the shift, the crown on this road isn't there. The water, obviously, ditching and all that.
But Aaron, drive from Chadburn Ridge Road north.
I mean,
on Route 5.
Aaron,
That's where the foot and bicycle traffic is.
now, do you know John Martin?
Yes, I do.
Okay, spend some time with John. John has some nice roads up there, doesn't he?
I do.
Northern Maine.
Route 11 is marvelous.
It goes all the way from tip to
Anyway.
tip, too.
So it's
I have no idea how
You know,
much.
so it's still on the list. It was on the list 2 commissioners ago, but
Set for 2014, so that's the...
I mean, but that's only gonna be, that's not widening it. I mean, when they do that road, we really need bicycle and walking paths for
And that's
kids in school and.
I'm hoping, I don't believe it's just a skinny mix put on it. I mean, hopefully it's going to
We
be
don't
a
want the
certain,
same tube of lipstick that painted Old Alfred Road to be
back.
Willis
Back to the
Lord
pigs,
was working on this when he was
That's exactly
up
right.
at the legislature, and that was a few years ago.
So
Mike
was
McAlee
George Carroll,
and
so it's
George
been a while.
Well,
Uh,
George got his end done.
I know.
Larry Jacobson did?
Getting back to Old Alfred Road, I think it's important, Aaron, that, there needs to be some criteria, and if nothing less than that comes out of this, I think it's important, because we're gonna get dumped on again. Other towns are gonna be in the same boat, so if we can set some guidelines that they have to live up to, that will be worth our effort.
I agree 100%. There's got to be a better way of doing this.
So
No
you
way.
know that, and maybe you don't know, but the 10 to 12 town group that meets here on a monthly basis has gathered a bunch of information that will be presented to MMA. MMA will construct proposed legislation that will ultimately go to you folks, assuming that you find your way back there. And there's a whole list of criteria, a lot of it created by Doug, all right? But that will be, that's gonna find its way to the legislature.
And I think you know, like I said, you saw some of the starting in this past session of trying to figure that out, trying to change some, probably unfortunately the system takes time to get through, but.
Yeah, and we have elections every 2 years. Doug, did you want to say something on that?
That bill is already written.
Okay.
It's, I've had a copy of it for about 3 weeks to edit it, because there's some things in there there's some things that aren't in this version that came back after the letter that I wrote went to the 11 town, 12 town group or whatever, and they voted to move it on. It went to the MMA, and they wrote a bill, and the bill has a couple of flaws in it that I see. That timing was one thing, that they have to have 24 months notice to the towns, not just 12 months, and then the appeal process, they need to be in there. So you haven't seen it yet, Aaron? I don't. What's that?
I have not. No, I
No,
haven't.
but it's in the works, and they're going to be looking for sponsors. So it'll be coming up.
Looking forward to get my hands on it to see it. So that's for sure.
Okay.
That's all I had to.
Other than it's gonna be a very busy 2 weeks.
A little bit, but it's been a pretty busy last 4 months for me anyway, so that's nothing new. What I enjoy, it keeps me busy.
Any reaction yet to the governor's letter to President Obama? Has there been any type of response from the White House or staff or anything?
Not that I'm aware, but I haven't, not really, kind of that's, separate.
I think he's got a direct line right into the governor?
Well, I assume that they'd probably overhear something in the hallways of the Capitol when they're up there.
Well, you get, when obviously right now we're not in the halls, we're not, the session, was done in May, so it's not like
Well, I find it interesting that Governor Page is concerned about shortfalls and budget cutting from the federal government over the next few months. I mean, what have we been through? And I'm not following for trying to balance the budget or anything else, but I mean, maybe he's feeling what we're feeling.
Well, I've said it before, there's 3 entities all looking for the same money, right? And we're all very parochial. What we need for the town, we need for the town. Unfortunately, the state feels the same way, and the Fed, but there's only one place that money comes
it's all
from.
coming out of the same pocket.
Yeah.
I'd say it's the left or the right pocket, but it's the same pocket of the people, so.
Okay,
All right.
well, thank
Thank
you,
you,
Aaron,
guys.
for the update.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Anything else, folks? Pending decisions, we have public service announcements, the driveway permit, and a board committee action list. Next week's agenda,
I'd like to have placed on there to discuss and vote on appropriating the funds that we receive from the wood at the transfer station to be used in part to pay for the
so the forestry
forestry management survey.
So we'll add that. Nancy, you and I need to do that MDOT letter, see if we can get that done for this week. I think, I know we got a public hearing next week, but I think we ought to take a few minutes and at least go over the referendums. You know, in a discussion amongst the 5 of us or 6 of us, if nothing more. Because there's still questions about, well, what about this, or what about the salt shed, you know, so I think, those things. So we ought to put a little bit of a time period, after the public hearing, Christina, because my guess, unless there's a huge outpouring on the public hearing, public hearings of late, we're lucky to scrape up a couple of people.
You're talking about the discussion, having that put
Well,
on television for people to watch?
Yeah, I think
Replay.
I think during the meeting next week, we ought to have a brief discussion on each one of the referendums.
Yeah.
Could you
Includes the charter.
bring in information on the,
Would include the charter.
Right, in the charter, the hydrants at the Lake Arrowhead and the
salt shed?
in the salt shed. And Dave, if we can somehow come up with some pictorials that you can broadcast or whatever, so that at least people that aren't in the room, I'm not sure how well you pick up stuff off on the screen here, but, okay. So maybe we have,
Take pictures.
we just limit it to maybe half an hour of, 10 minutes each subject, and if we don't take 10 minutes, we'll move on to the next subject. But
And
I think
maybe Dave can make a cutout of that and kind of a rebroadcasting it for public
right.
information.
I'm gonna leave the dump pickup stuff, we'll let the committee run that and at least come back to us with a, I think that's it. Anything else they can think of?
I'd almost like to have it on the agenda to rename the Public Safety Committee to the Garden Club 2, because the way they're getting applicants to be on that committee, I think that we need to straighten some of those over to the committees that don't have any.
All right.
That's got to be the most popular.
We probably could come up
Nancy
with a
goes around
unique name.
threatening people.
Huh?
Okay?
I just say that in jest to sort of.
I wanted to know what you ate before you came here
I
today.
didn't.
You're very witty.
So, items needing signatures because he spent a few days in North Carolina.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
just
it.
A
relax.
little bit of that
Oh,
southern
My grandson did
hospitality.
it to me, I guess.
Items needing signature, warrants and bills for payroll. Reminders. October 25th, Thursday, senior luncheon at the Snowmobile Club. I think this is one of the last two. Did Mike say last week?
I think.
Oh, Mike's on next week for the agenda too, right?
Yes.
Okay. Doug?
I'd like to have the announcement that the land trust meeting is tomorrow night, October 24th at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And we could use members. We're starting to work on the mountain again, so we could use new members. The meetings are open to the public, and I'd love to have more people come.
Yep.
7 o'clock tomorrow night in the original town hall.
The original town hall.
Can they plant flowers there? Is that over all the?
If you so desire, and they're legal.
I didn't hear the day on that, Doug.
What's that?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Are you going up there with tomorrow night or meeting?
No, but Brian Rita will be in to discuss the management up there and doing some cutting for us, and
Okay, so you're not actually going up there? Okay.
but we're gonna be talking about it.
Yeah.
All right, so Old Home Days Committee, 6:30 Thursday night. Library Board of Trustees at the library, 6:30 Thursday night. Cribbage tournament this weekend, Saturday morning at 8:30 at the Old Town Hall. Next week, we'll be meeting here with reports from the Community Garden Committee. Oh, sure. And they're on every other week all of a sudden, right? Conservation Commission and the Cemetery Committee. Speaking about the Conservation Commission, they'll be meeting November 1st at 5 p.m. And then 2 weeks out, Election Day, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. voting will take place at the middle school. And then the selectmen meeting will take place here at 6 p.m. And we'll have Saco River Cable and the TV committee reporting out that night. Anything that I missed?
We're gonna move that meeting right along so we can get home for the
Yes.
elections, right?
Yeah, so you'll probably be 2 or 3 days later before we know who wins this one.
Just extend our best wishes for a happy anniversary to our reporter from the Tribune who frequents our meetings quite often.
All right, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you and good night.